I read the article, The Effect of Digital Storytelling in Improving the Third Graders' Writing Skills. This article started by stating that students who fall behind in the third grade in terms of reading achievement are not able to keep up with their peers, and because of that gap, they need to be taught new kinds of literacy, which start with the internet. There is a divide with the literary skills of students, and that divide can start in different variables such as gender, age, race. Because of these variables, digital storytelling can be used to kind of even out that playing field. The National Commission on Writing, or the NCW, declared writing as the most neglected domain among reading and arithmetic in a report. And definitely today the importance of writing has been increasing in those terms of self-expression and communication. I think that this is definitely true, at least in my classroom, that so much focus is put on reading and math that writing is kind of one of those things that's put to the side, and it shouldn't be. Writing in this day and age is a lot more collaborative and social. Due to all the time that we spend on social networks, we're able to communicate with others by just through a click. One quote from the article that really stuck out to me that has really shown me how much technology and literacy has changed over time was the fact that digital storytelling is a means of educational technology. The article stated that story or storytelling is literally a tradition of centuries. Communication through written stories, written books, and notebooks used to be the core of instruction. Today, new generation storytelling starts with digital storytelling, which integrates pictures, music, and audio through computers. Digital storytelling is a process that blends media to enrich and develop spoken language. Multimedia storytelling is literally the modern expression of a very old art. Digital storytelling not only enriches the learning environment, curriculum, and learning experiences, but it also helps develop the technical presentation, the research, organization, and writing skills of a student. It also develops academic achievement, increases attitude and motivation, and also students use different learning strategies to help them problem solve when they run into a situation that they might have trouble with. When reading this article, I had a lot of ahas. And one of the ahas was stated in the article, and it stated that reading or writing a text does not mean that students are literate. Today, students are supposed to understand, practice, analyze, synthesize, evaluate, and compose information. So students need to have a lot of multimedia literacy skills to have access of all kinds of texts, including the traditional texts, visuals, and also hypertexts. Traditional storytelling has been used to improve the literacy skills of students by activating the language skills such as reading, writing, and listening and speaking. Digital storytelling expands literacy to a digital dimension by integrating traditional and new literacy skills. Students also integrate their understanding, problem-solving skills, and critical thinking skills, and they employ technology in a new creative way. Digital storytelling includes a lot of personal reflection with students. It's pretty simple. When students write, they're thinking. No matter how crazy or outlandish technology can become, the core of digital storytelling will remain the same, involving writing and the conventional forms of literacy. And oftentimes, students who have difficulties in writing, they're not often strategic in the way that they write. Digital storytelling can help these students to become those strategic writers. Digital storytelling, it can decrease the lack of students on the issues such as spelling, punctuation, and handwriting. The storyboards that are used in digital storytelling can help have the events flow in a reasonable way that makes sense for the storyteller and the person receiving the story. Digital storytelling motivates students by including them in the process, and it can help them go from a not so good writer into a great writer. Looking at that quote made me think of my husband. He's one of those people that really has trouble with reading and writing. But if you say to him, tell me how to do it or show me how to do it, He'll master it every single time. It's just his learning style. Digital storytelling can help motivate students to write more clearly and add more detail to their stories. Because of digital storytelling, students are able to expand their audience and increase the participation levels. Writing has evolved over time from starting off pencil and paper to now authoring in multimedia, such as writing in e-journals, writing in blogs, and over the internet in many different formats. This study was done to reveal the effects of digital storytelling in the third grade students' writing skills in rural areas. The first step of the study was to determine how digital storytelling develops the students' writing performances. Also, the digital storytelling and writing instruction process will be investigated in a detailed way with the help of observation and field notes, interviews with students and teachers, audio and video recordings, students' diaries, and the student products. The 3 research questions were posed. Number 1, how does the process of digital storytelling affect third graders' writing performances? Number 2, how is the development of quality in the digital stories designed by the students? And number 3, how does digital storytelling influence the process of narrative writing? After looking at the research questions that were posed, it's also important to look at the different participants and the setting in which this study was carried out in. This study was carried out over the course of a second semester of an academic year in a village. There was 26 participants in the study. There were 16 females and 10 males. More than half of the participants had three or more siblings. And in terms of the educational status of parents, more than half of the fathers are primary school graduates, and they have work as a blue-collar worker or a farmer. The participants' mothers do not work, and more than half of them are graduated from primary school graduates, and it's important to know that 3 of the mothers are illiterate. At the end of this project, not only did the writing skills improve, but also a community of learners was built inside this classroom. The students became role models for each other in their groups in regards to their writing skills, their strategies, and their skills for a new literacy. The students developed a lot of skills by just observing and imitating each other. When they were working collaboratively, they felt like they were more free and they behaved comfortably and naturally. Um, the writing process from the group to the individual work, and this helped the students to gain confidence by step. So pretty much as the students did stuff from a group and then transitioned to their individual work, they felt confident in that transition. Students felt responsibility for their final product, and also the students worked as a team as they were encouraged to observe and encourage each other throughout the process. The article stated that motivation was a huge factor in the outcome of this study. The article stated that the digital story practices increased the students' willingness to participate in writing activities. The students did not used in the past to interact with the internet and computers in their daily lives or at school, and so they used to be taught in a very traditional classroom environment. However, through the integration of computers and integration of internet, it increased their ambition and it encouraged the students to participate in the steps of writing process very actively. Before these new procedures were implemented, some students were really procrastinating in their writing assignments or they refused to write. But with the help of these digital stories, these students showed their enthusiasm to participate in the writing process. When students are allowed to share what they know in a way that they find appealing, it will enhance the students' ideas, it will enhance their organization, influence their word choice, their sentence fluency, and their conventions in terms of writing. Also, digital storytelling improve the story elements such as problem setting, characters, and plot. And at the end of the procedures, the students' stories were much more detailed in terms of word count as well. And it definitely digital storytelling, it can serve as a tool in the process of self-writing. Knowing the audience is a huge factor in digital storytelling, and this process really encourages the sense of language in relation to the target audience. So, in using digital storytelling, students are very aware of how their language or their discourse is going to affect their audience. The students learn to consider who they're writing for and why they write their stories. Who are they writing for? Why do they write? Is definitely a thought process that goes through their minds when starting this. Digital storytelling is definitely a one step at a time process. It starts as storyboard. That's when the students think over the content of their writing, and then they draft edit their stories. And then also students take advantage of audio recordings to elaborate and vocalize their stories. Because of the first step that was taken with the storyboards, the students can comprehend the plot better, and it definitely raises their awareness on the details and the transition of events within their story. The article concluded by stating that digital storytelling offers new opportunities for the students to create meaning through multimedia texts, comprehend the nature of multi-form texts, and develop their technology, information, and visual literacies. Therefore, the digital stories might be utilized effectively by the teachers in those low-level socioeconomic areas to help prevent that digital divide. Also, new literacy skills are taught to younger children, and then it's recommended to integrate new literacies into the classroom instruction, especially for the students with economic disadvantages. So, digital storytelling has the ability to reach students no matter their age, race, gender, or socioeconomic status, and it also allows students to share what they know in the way that they learn best.